Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just had lunch, so we're gonna record real quick while I'm still on my lunch break. Working at home. Woo! Alright, so let's take a quick look at the Voting Jubilee that's still happening. I do have some lists prepared. This is obviously a duo pick that we're making. But I thought about some singles too. And as with the last video that I did, I found it a little harder to get creative this time around, which was a bit of a bummer. This one is much more direct. We're looking at dancing duos, and I will of course reveal my pick at the very end, but first I think it's fun just to theorize. So this is going to be the most graceful dancing duet. Now initially I thought maybe Renea and Berkut would probably take the win. More than likely somebody around that term will. However, if you didn't know, you can actually mix games with this particular pick, which I thought was very interesting. So I do have one of those picks as well, but yeah, I found this one to be a little less creatively stimulating as the teacher one. I don't know enough about dance necessarily to pick out like who would be the best salsa dancer, or who would be the best at doing the foxtrot, or who would win a ballroom trophy. And honestly, I don't care enough to to research all of that, so I'm not going to. But I do want to make a note at saying these may not become banners. They might not become banners. However, I find it very curious that they're doing these random voting polls for no reason, if that's the case. I think that would just be too weird. And they haven't really explained as to why it's happening. And I think they may not be explaining why it's happening because they are fearful that people are just going to hard vote one particular game, Three Houses, like they did with the Choose Your Legends voting. So I think what we're probably going to get an announcement once all the tallies are in about some of these votings becoming a possible banner at some point over the next 6 to 10 months. Probably is probably when they're looking to roll these out, if that happens. If it happens. I'm just saying it's awfully convenient that the first thing that we get to vote on is best teacher, which typically back to school kind of starts like late summer. And then we have the dancing duo, which the dance banner in FEH always happens like late summer to early fall. So I don't know. I think it's just very convenient how these things are falling into place. I've been told that I'm reading too much into this, but I just think all of these coincidences are too much to ignore. So I'm not trying to get anybody hyped about it. I'm just trying to explain where my mind is at with these things, because it just seems too damn convenient. And I don't I don't know why we would be doing this. Like, IS does not typically reach out and do these random interaction things for no reason. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a retweet campaign for this, for crying out loud. Like, that is weird. It's weird that they'd be putting so much into this for no payoff whatsoever. That's super weird. Anyway, look, we're gonna look at some options here. We're gonna hop in. Which, by the way, I appreciate that it just instantly pops to Shadow Dragon. That's kind of nice. Nice to see that. No, I mean, it's the first game, so why wouldn't it? Anyway, let's look at some of the single options that I was thinking about. Which, conveniently, one of them was actually in Shadow Dragon. So we got Hippity Hop all the way on back now. Hey, look at that. Now, I think the real big brain move is actually picking a Three Houses pre and post skip and like joining them together. I think that's probably like astral brain level kind of nonsense that's happening. Where would you be? I'm looking at my notes here. We're gonna use the sidebars here. Oh, there he is. Navarre. I feel like Navarre would be like a really good dancer and you just didn't know about it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he would be. I don't know why I get the feeling that he knows, like, how to waltz. But I have a suspicion that he does, and he just doesn't talk about it ever. But if it came to a matter of life or death where he had to properly execute a ballroom-style dance, I feel like he could do it. I don't know, just a hunch. So I would want Navarre in my corner for sure. Again, just an assumption. And I tried to intentionally not pick, like, traditional dancer units, by the way. If you thought that was a strange pick, we are in for it. Another option that I looked at and thought about, and I guess even though I'm naming a couple singles first and this is a duo pick, I guess that's kind of okay. Because you could theoretically join these up. And he's right here at the top, too. How convenient. Bastion. Bastion definitely looks like he has been to some balls in his time. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely gone and done some fancy dances of some kind. You know, he's kind of like a spy. So, I don't want to talk too much about it because that would ruin maybe some Tellius things. But either way, like, you know, I feel like any guy that looks like Bastion knows how to properly dance. Like, he just does. There's no getting past that. Literally no getting past that. So Bastion is an obvious pick. I feel like he'd be pretty light on his feet as well. Just getting some characteristics in there. Another option that I looked at and thought about, who may have a hidden talent, would have been Miss Maiko. We know she can model. We know she is photogenic. Not 100% sure about her singing capacity, but I definitely feel like she could dance. I feel like she could be a dancer. Nothing traditional necessarily. Maybe salsa. Maybe she's a salsa dancer. Who knows? But I feel like she could break it down if she had to. Do people still say that? Probably not. I don't like dance. I'm not really into it. The years of my parents watching, what was that? What was that dance competition? They brought it back on ABC. I can't remember the name of it. Either way. Didn't they have the old White House press correspondent guy? Isn't he on there? Like a couple years ago or something? It's weird. Anyway. My years of my parents watching that ruined dance for me. So Maiko, I feel like, would be a sleeper pick, as it were. But ultimately, I didn't pick anything that involved a combination of Maiko, simply because I would like her to be a genuinely real unit someday. But realistically, since she doesn't really have a Mirage, I don't know what she would do. She probably would be a dagger unit, if I'm being real, just based on her interactions in Tokyo Mirage sessions. So this is actually the duo that I picked out to cross games. And I feel like I've seen a lot of talk, but not about Olivia. The very shy, embarrassing type of character that Olivia is. It's very ironic that she would play the role of a dancer supporter unit. But I think that's part of the charm. I would genuinely pair her with another dancer who is, shall we say, very confident and self-assured. And this is not showing up on my screen because she's too far down. Hang on, can we? Oop, oh gosh, we have gone into Splitsville now. All right, can we? There. Oop, oop, oop. There we go. All right, so that's kind of better, I guess. We had to shift screens temporarily. Yes. So I feel as though Tethys here would be a very good option as a partner for Olivia, because you have someone like Tethys with her backstory, who basically got good at dancing for the intent of making a living and surviving, and being essentially having to be very confident in herself and her abilities. I think that's pretty contrasting to Olivia's personality, as it were. So I would be very interested to see a kind of duo pairing of those two. I think that would be interesting. If we had to have like some kind of dancer plus dancer type duo unit that existed in Fae, Tethys and Olivia I think would be a very interesting combination for sure. But ultimately what I ended up going with, and I expressed this thought in the Discord as well, just kind of where my head was at. Tokyo Mirage Sessions has a handful of specials, and of those specials, there are a couple that I like more than others. But ultimately, the one that I find to be an absolute banger is Dreamcatcher. And that had Eleonora and Tsubasa. So I ended up going with Ellie and Tsubasa as my graceful dancing duet. Now, you may say, well, Dreamcatcher doesn't really have that much dancing in it. I am not inclined to disagree with you on that. It is very step-tastic, show choir-esque dance level moves. But, you know, I feel like they could both hang. They can both hang. They could pull it off. So I ended up going with them ultimately. I genuinely, it was genuinely down between Tethys and Olivia and Tsubasa and Ellie. But at the end of the day, I was also kind of curious to see what it would look like having a possible 4 different characters crammed into a single unit. If it did end up becoming a duo unit, and that was a thing. More than likely, if something like this scenario popped up, they would probably just go with the 2 main characters and forego having the Mirages in the background with them. But bonus points if we also get Sita and Virion, because I feel like Virion is also probably a very strong dancer as well. He has that kind of Bastion level personality where I imagine he would also know a thing or two about proper dancing, being a noble and whatnot. So there you go. Those are my picks. This is just a dumb, fun video that we are doing in times of sadness and solidarity. But let me know who you guys picked on your most graceful dancing duo pick. And also, if it's not abundantly clear from your post, let me know if you decided to intermix games. Because I genuinely think that would be the most possibly interesting thing that could happen to a Fae banner ever. I genuinely think that would be really, really cool if they mixed characters like that from different games together into one unit. That would be pretty sweet. Anyway, that's it for now. More videos coming out the rest of the week. I will continue to do these as well because, frankly, it's I'm enjoying it more than I should. It's dumb, but it's fun, and I like that. So anyway, let me know how you guys voted. If you're excited about it. Let me know if you think these are going to be banners too. I'm genuinely curious because I'm often met with a lot of pessimism, and while I understand it, I do think IS has a chance to do some good things at some point. You know. So yeah, let me know all that. Thanks again for watching. Remember to be good to each other. Remember to wash your hands. Remember to stay hydrated. And above all else, stay safe and keep those close to you safe as well. Subscribe if you plan on coming back. It's helpful. And that's it for now. So thanks again for watching, and I will catch you next time.